Yeah, brothers and sisters, Black Power. As always, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors, as well as my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my father, my in-laws, and all of our brothers and sisters, subscribers, and all who are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. By request, I was asked to do something on Pyhllis Hyman, so that's what I'm gonna bring y'all today. She was 40, just a couple of weeks shy of her 46th birthday. Born in Philadelphia, extraordinary singer, had extraordinary glamour, very, very beautiful queen, and she was a enormous talented as well as flamboyant in terms of her performances, the way she dressed, all of that whole package. But at this time, I'm gonna try to break some things down to you all. As you know, she wore some vicious African headpieces, and she got her ideas because she was conscious. She was very conscious, and she got her ideas from ancient Kemet. A lot of our ancestors in Kemet, the queens wore nice, extravagant headpieces like Nefertiti and Queen Ty and the likes. However, Pyhllis Hyman contracted that through her DNA because she's a very talented individual. She also could act too, and that runs in her family, because Earl Hyman, who y'all probably know is played Bill Cosby's father on the Cosby Show, is her first cousin, Earl Hyman, and he was one of her favorite and closest friends as well as a fan. Earl Hyman, he was a very, very, he's been acting for several decades, and but nevertheless, like I said, once again, he was Phyllis's first cousin as well as one of her closest friends and fans. A lot of you didn't know that. And Phyllis was first signed to the devil. She was signed to the devil, Clive Davis. That was the first person she had signed with. And as you know, Clive Davis is the fucking devil. He's a devil. And I'm gonna show you how he played a integral part in Pyhllis Hyman's career and life. But we all know Clive is an expert at taking female singers, extraordinary female singers, playing one against the other, lying to them, taking their money, giving them false hope, and then at the end destroying them. Aretha Franklin was one of Clive Davis's proteges as well. Excuse me. So, as you all know, he really replaced Whitney Houston with Jennifer Hudson, by way of homicide. And it infuriated Clive Davis when Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff came into play, Philadelphia Records, and they have an array of acts, and they are pro-black, very conscious brothers, that believe in playing fair. You've never heard anything about them as far as them taking money from any of their clients. They believe in black power. They were former radical, activists. and they still play an integral part in the community in Philadelphia, and which is the name of their record company, Philadelphia Records. And I'm quite sure those old timers heard the sound of Philly, Teddy Pendergrass, and the whole, Harold Melvin, the whole gamut, and that infuriated Clive Davis, who is a racist devil, and he believes that he's supposed to have all the black beard wenches under his spell. And when Pyhllis Hyman parted ways with him in '85 and went where she's supposed to have went from the beginning, Clive Davis infuriated her because when she got with Gamble and Huff, her career, she blew up like a motherfucker. I mean, she blew up. Begin to go gold, double gold, triple gold, and she was putting in work, and Clive Davis had to find a way to destroy her, and Gamble and Huff had such acts as, Patti LaBelle, who Patti figured there wasn't room for two divas in Philadelphia Records. That's why, a lot of y'all don't know Patti is such a fucking hater. She is such a fucking hater, but she is loved unconditionally by the LGBT community. All of her shows are filled with gays. Standing room only, fags every motherfucking way. And that's the type of crowd she brings. And to be honest, she's not the only black female that brings that kind of crowd, but she brings the largest LGBT crowd. And so her and Pyhllis really didn't get along. She wanted Pyhllis out of there because Pyhllis was tall, she didn't take no shit. She was a straight Philly girl, and she couldn't be controlled. In her songs, if you listen to any of her songs, she talks about what she's going through, but she also helps, other people who have those same issues, of not finding the right man or just struggling day to day. Excuse me. Pyhllis Hyman, she also was known to, she had sellout audiences, sellout shows, she had the laid back kind of music where you could actually chill, with your glass of wine and, and your loved one next to you, with the candles low. She created that type of atmosphere with her music. And that's what made her, so phenomenal. But at the same time, she would always talk about, the things that she was going through, which was nothing but, relationship, trusting the wrong people, dealing with devils and shit like that, And I'll explain to you shortly why, that is so important. As you see, very, very extravagant dress. Wore top of the line headpieces, which to the likes of Shahrazad Ali and others. Queen Latifah, she got her ideas from Pyhllis Hyman as well, and Shahrazad Ali. So the impact that she had on a lot of people. And to be forgotten like she has been forgotten is a fucking shame, because she produced a lot of good music. So we need to honor that, and as always, Somehow Clive Davis's, this is facts. She struggled with weight, and see what they did was try to make that a major thing that she would take her own life for, because she, you know, was a couple of pounds overweight, which is bullshit. And that for a sister doesn't do that. A sister doesn't kill her motherfucking self, over one fucked up relationship. She's just not that weak. Now, white women, they do this shit all day. And she was at the peak of her career. Her music, helped a lot of movies. Her music was in the movie School Days. You remember the movie School Days, Spike Lee. She was just very, very powerful. And what happened, because phenobarbital is something that one would have to be administered by someone else, because it's a powerful liquid. You can also get it in pill form as well. However, she had no reason to do that. But Clive Davis did. Because if you notice, no one has ever walked off thoroughly like Pyhllis Hyman and told Clive who he was and how she felt about him. And so when she began to blow up, when she began to be under the guidance of Gamble and Huff, that's how Clive Davis paid her back. Because anybody can write a suicide note. He was largely responsible for the death of Pyhllis Hyman. Now, in 95, the black community was really trying to recover from the crack epidemic that ruined black America. And so, Pyhllis Hyman was kind of overlooked. Following a year later with the murder of Tupac Shakur. And the same thing, she, with Eazy-E. That overshadowed the passing of Pyhllis Hyman to black America, the majority of black America. But we must not forget her, because she was so powerful, she was so amazing, and she was murdered. Once again, Clive Davis he played a major role in the murder of Pyhllis Hyman. Based on money, based on control. Pyhllis would not engage, in the sex rituals. She would not engage in none of that bullshit. And that's why she walked off. But before she walked off, she contacted Gamble and Huff to ensure her walk away from them goddamn crackers was a safe one. But the devil that Clive Davis is, see, you all don't know, or some of you don't even believe or understand how powerful this little white fucker is. This cracker has enormous power in the industry. And he can make things happen because his checkbook can talk real loud. And so that was the murder of Pyhllis Hyman. What black woman would you know that will kill herself because she's a couple of pounds overweight, who is a mega star? Who is a mega star? That's bullshit. And Clive Davis's MO with the killing of these females is always in a hotel or some type of bedroom, and it involves some type of narcotics or benzos of some sort. So brothers and sisters, just use your head, use common sense. Read about Pyhllis Hyman. Read about the things that she's went through. And how, they weren't as major to the point where she would just take herself out of here. It's just too goddamn obvious. So I'll be back with y'all shortly with another video. Hotel, Black Power. Now I know you all want my opinion of the Bobby Brown story. The Bobby Brown story to me was, the movie was phenomenal. It was fantastic. It was very, very real. It was very more detailed than the average movie. And I appreciate Brother Bobby Brown for that. However, let's be real. Bobby Brown was talking about the majority of black men and the traumas that they endure. Meaning Bobby Brown didn't go through no more than what most black men go through. And the way that, and I know a lot of you all, whether you want to admit it or not, you feel guilty for prejudging that brother and putting him the blame of Whitney Houston's drug addiction, which ultimately played a role in her passing. When I say play a role in her passing, I don't mean she was doing drugs murdered her. I mean, by her having a history of drug use, when they murdered her, they made it seem like she relapsed. And that's what I mean by that. But nevertheless, people prejudged Bobby, blamed Bobby Brown for everything. Said he was ugly, said he was black, he was too dark, he wasn't good enough for Whitney Houston. And so, when I see Bobby, I see not only myself, but I see the majority of black men that I know. Meaning the majority of black men in the country today. That they always put the black man down. It's always the black man's fault. And this was a clear example. Now, Miss Janet Jackson. See, a lot of y'all just, even if you knew that they were dating, but she even said in her behavior that Bobby was too ugly and too black. And if you look at all the punks that Janet Jackson married, all these motherfuckers were either half cracker, they weren't all 100% black men. They were mixed with something, because the self-hatred that Janet Jackson has and the hatred she has towards black men. Now, Bobby was slutting her out sexually, slutting her ass out. And this is how sneaky they are. They really want a true black God. But to keep the public happy and to keep this false image up, they married these motherfucking Indians and these motherfucking camel jockeys and all these type of motherfuckers, from DeBarge on out. There's nothing personal against DeBarge, but that's the type of motherfucking that a lot of these women in Hollywood they're seeking those type. But they want the power, they want the energy of that true black God. Prime example, Kamora Lee Simmons. You know, she knew Russell Simmons was a weak punk mulatto motherfucker. You know, but she got with Hyman. Hyman is an African, jet black, wide nostril, full lip, you know, cut up muscular African. Cause she wanted a real motherfucking G. And that's what Janet wanted. But she didn't want nobody else to know. You know, and the shit she done, you know, she sat there and sucked on Bobby Brown's dick. Knowing all the wild sexual motherfucking behavior that Bobby had during that time. You know, but she made Tupac take a motherfucking AIDS test. She made Tupac take an AIDS test just to kiss her motherfucking ass. You know, in which Pac did. And Pac didn't even live long enough to have the sexual appetite and sexual behavior that not only Bobby Brown had, but Janet Jackson too. Because, see, Janet Jackson, to a lot of you all, had this squeaky clean image, this control, miscontrol, and all this bullshit. Janet Jackson is a hoe. Just like the rest of the hoes in the industry. She's been slutted out by, you know, by several motherfuckers. You know, she done slobbed on plenty white men in the industry. That's why crackers love her. See, the Jacksons have a serious mental complex when it comes to the true dark-skinned African man. You know, and she had the nerve. Tupac should have made her take the goddamn AIDS test. The way Bobby Brown was fucking her, and she was fucking the guy she was getting ready to marry and Bobby at the same time. That's just who we know. No, it's no telling who else was digging in her motherfucking ass. You know, that's why she waited till she was 50 to have a child. 50. Because Janet has a motherfucking, it appears she has a white liver. There's no other way to put it. You know. Because she even said when she got her clitoris pierced with an earring, she said she nutted on the goddamn man that gave her, put the earring on her clit. That's how nasty, you know, this, you know, nasty girl. See, y'all was dancing to the shit, but she was really talking about herself. You know, so this should be a lesson for you all. You know, and the young Bobby who, you know, he wasn't innocent and everything. You know, he had got caught up in the drug scene. You know, although, you know, Whitney was a powerful influence. She didn't hold no gun to his head and made him get high. But the influence that she had, it impacted him. He, you know, he was also curious because he used to sell drugs before when he got put out a new edition. He went back to sell drugs at home, you know, but he never got down with that shit. You know, so, but it wasn't like he came to, well, we all know who was getting high first and who turned who out with the motherfucking dope. It was Whitney. Whitney always been a dope fiend. You know, bless her heart. She's one of my favorite artists. You know, in which I love dearly. She's you know, she has a lot of swag. I love Whitney Houston. However, we have to put the cards where they belong. You know. And as always, you know, Clive Davis, you know, wanted to put this squeaky clean image. Even her mother. Sissy Houston. She didn't want to see Whitney for who she really was. So, as a lot of mothers, they'll blame somebody else for their own children's fucked up behaviors. And so that's why she was saying Bobby wasn't shit and this and that, because she didn't even know what was really going on. All she knew that when they hooked up, substance abuse, drug addicts, all that, those words start to hit the air. So I don't blame her, but she's a motherfucker too when she wants to be. But like I said, that Bobby, he phenomenal entertainer. He had the energy of Jackie Wilson, James Brown, Michael Jackson. I mean, he brought swag. He brought swag to the industry. However, too much, too soon, too bad. And that's what happened. He just speeding, you getting high, millions of dollars, going on tour, acting a fool, thinking he was untouchable, and tragedy was set up and lined up for him. And that's how the ancestors work. The creating the ancestors work. To preserve a person so their story, they can be around to tell their story, to touch the world, so the world can know who you really are. Bobby Brown was, like I said, he was the majority of black men. I've had those same experiences that Bobby had, as far as watching their homies, watching your homeboys being shot, people being shot and killed in front of you, going to prison, aside from the tragedies of the immediate family. I think he held on pretty strong, to lose, both of his parents, and his ex-wife and his daughter, I mean, it was almost simultaneously, but he managed to hold on. But my concern with him now is his alcohol consumption. He left the drugs and everything alone, but alcohol is a drug as well when you begin to abuse it. When you begin to become dependent on it, it becomes a drug. And hopefully he can get something, get that deal with that issue, tackle that issue, overcome that demon, that alcohol demon. So, because he's going to be well off, his books are going to sell. His book is going to sell in the millions. The movie is going to sell. The movie is going to make him very, very, very wealthy. However, he's helped a lot of black men. He's helped a lot of people see what the average black man goes through. This is what the average black man has to deal with. His story is not unique from millions of other black men. It was just being told in more detail. Because you go to any black man and ask him how many tragedies has he had in his life. The rejection, the racism, the jail, the prison, all of the things that the average black man has to endure in his lifetime. Most do not even make it and pull through their personal tragedies. But I cannot put emphasis enough on what Bobby Brown represented. What that was, it was just a movie about the black male. And for you sisters, a lot of you know that your man has undergone those same issues, those same tragedies. And it should make you not just understand, but appreciate him more for just being here, overcoming those situations, dealing with certain situations, crushing certain demons within, and still standing up as a strong, heterosexual, alpha male, black African God. And so, because once again, and let me just touch on this. I always talk about the importance of you black queens. And if it wasn't for his current wife, who stood by him, and she was a rider, and she's riding to the end, and the things that she had to go through, unnecessarily, because she didn't have to go through those things. She could have just left him alone and found an average Joe. But as all you queens do, the black woman sees something in the black man that a lot of times he's unable to see himself. However, she rolled with him to the end. She's riding with him through it all. And, you must take your hat off to her. You must give her props. But at the same time, Bobby, I'm thankful that he was able to be as honest as he could to help black men in this country. Let the world see what we go through. How bad it is when a lot of brothers go to the penitentiary or go to jail, and you physically detoxing off whatever your drug of choice is. With Bobby, it was everything. Heroin, cocaine, crack, alcohol, pills, marijuana. And how he was able to deal with that. Because if you notice in one picture, this cracker loves to see a black man fucked up. Because he had about 5 days clean he was still detoxing. And he and his cellmate were at the table eating. And here come this goddamn white motherfucking mountain dog. This devil comes, to offer Bobby Brown some more dope to keep him fucked up. To keep him in death mode. See, this is how the white man is. I keep telling y'all this. And I'm glad he put that in there like it was supposed to. Let the white man expose his motherfucking ass. Even the ones that are in jail. And then he said that, he won't be able to make it a couple of more days. And see, that's how the devils work. And I'm telling you all, when you're faced with that, when these demons, demonic energies come to you, telling you that you cannot pull through, that's when you give it all you got and stand straight the fuck up like a goddamn soldier, like a warrior, like a black god. And that's what he did. He said, fuck that cracker. Nigga, you got me fucked up. I'm going to overcome this shit. I'm not going to be dependent on you white motherfuckers. Y'all got us like this from the beginning anyway. It's your drugs, it's your dope, it's your crack that got us in this condition. We didn't bring this shit over here. And so, he was able to work through that. And however, Whitney was still struggling, but eventually, she overcame it. But see, when she was ready to come back, and I'm gonna talk about, I'll do a Whitney, in the near future, But however, I'll discuss how she was replaced by Jennifer Hudson, who had just recently murdered her family, pledged and sacrificed her family, in a ritual, to be where she is today. That's why she's always singing, no matter what. She's made the ultimate sacrifice of a whole family. Even a little child. So she gets first crack at everything. She had no business, even when they do tributes to Aretha Franklin. So what? She can sing real good. So what the fuck? If you read those who are Christians, if you read your biblical scriptures, don't they say that Satan was a hell of a musician? Played a harp and all that, sounds so good. No one could out-sing him. No one could outplay him. But he was a goddamn devil. And see, that's the contradiction you all have. Instead of continue to, keep your foot on her fucking neck. And let her know that was wrong. You don't pledge to take your family out so you can have fame and fortune. And then you expect to be respected. And then a lot of people, in the way that they justify it, by not believing it, by not believing the truth that's in your face. That's just an excuse for you to continue to enjoy her motherfucking music. So in other words, those who love her music, you love demonic music. You love demonic music. So and it also shows how stupid the black man can be if he's not careful, that he can become he can become so arrogant in his behavior, in his thinking, that to some extent doesn't realize what he's doing. But I hope that I touched on that, you got some type of understanding out of what I just explained in terms of my opinion and views of the Bobby Brown movie. So until again, as always, I leave you all with peace. And I'll be back with Eazy-E because Friday is my born day, as well as Eazy-E's born day. So I'm gonna do a tribute to brother Eazy-E on Friday. I may be filming in another town the weekend, so it doesn't stop no matter what. And I'll be getting back with you all, probably Friday, if not tomorrow. Depends on what comes up. You know how we roll. And as always, my Michael Belmont, Sister Bernice, all of my subscribers, faithful subscribers, and all of the people, brothers, Brother Faison, Brother Duck Burgess, Brother Eazy-E, all the brothers and sisters that are born that are Virgos. Let me just put it that way, according to the zodiacs. You know, and these are fall children, and so let's get it done, brothers and sisters. As always, Hotep, Black Power.